What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Shay Renee. I wanted to do a follow-up video on, I did a live on our panel, Unbiased Opinion panel on my YouTube channel, if you're watching this from TikTok, with my girl, Conversations with Sean. And I've had a chance to take a look at our review of the Nene Leakes interview for part 1 and part 2 with Carlos King. And I came away with a couple of extra things. Number one, here's the biggest thing that I realized. You know, Nene complained a lot throughout the interview about all these things that everybody is doing to her. You know, Nene is the queen of woe is me, child. Okay. And let me start this by saying, I like Nene Leakes. I think Nene Leakes is entertaining. However, the talent that she has is not one of longevity if you don't have other talents to back it up, such as acting, such as talk show hosting, such as podcasting, comedian, things like that. Nene is funny, but she needs an opponent. That's the thing that most people don't realize. Nene is not a powerhouse talent by herself, okay? She said that throughout the interview about Kandi Burruss, how Kandi Burruss is a supporting role. Nene, you need a supporting cast too, because your talent is having a smart mouth. I can't have a smart mouth by myself. I got to spar with somebody. I have to have a conversation with other people. Having a smart mouth is not a talent that's going to take you very far unless you want to become a comedian, you want to become an actor, you want to do podcasts, you want to be a talk show host, right? But then you also have to be able to work with other people. Also, the biggest issue, and I continue to say that, and I said that throughout our interview, is that Nene's ego is going to walk through the door before her. Now, ego should not be confused with confidence, okay? Let me repeat that. Ego should not be confused with confidence, okay? Confidence takes you a long way. Ego going to have her sitting right here with this interview right here being the most #1 thing she's done in the past. Now, I will say this, kudos to Carlos, because he's gotten 1 million views from part 1, okay? The interview on Tuesday for part 2 just dropped, and he's still under 500,000 right now. I just checked before I did this review that I'm doing here. However, everybody streams nowadays. There's different entities that are showing these results, right? And we have more access to see the viewership because it's on YouTube. And also, I'm not going to take it away from her. Nene has been gone for quite some time, so a lot of people are really interested in hearing what she has to say. And she does have a fan base. Now, Nene talked about another thing that I wanted to address. She talked about Ryan Murphy and how she was, you know, I remember when Nene was on The New Normal, she was on Glee. She even did that comedic tour with, like, I think, was Sherry Shepherd on there? I can't remember. But she did like a comedy tour, things like that. She's tried to do other things. Now, all these things were done while she was on The Housewives, while she was at the top of her career. Mind you, Andy Cohen has a relationship with Ryan Murphy. And Ryan Murphy is known to use the same actors over and over and over again in his movies, right? And in the shows that he's produced. And he's produced some very great talent. I feel like The New Normal it should have been on longer than it was. I think that it was only on for a season. And I don't think that it got the viewership that it needed. However, it brings me to think, she talked about NBC blackballing her. It's not about them blackballing her. It's people don't want to realize Nene is a hard sell. Okay? She's a hard sell. It's a hard market. It's a hard sell. She continues to talk about, compare herself to Kim Kardashian. Let me say this. SEX sells all the time, okay? And that woman right there is the epitome of just that, okay? Her whole career started off of that. Nene, unless you want to go swing from a shower rod like Mimi, and that didn't even go anywhere for her, I don't even know what you want me to do. It's all about your team and who's marketing you. And again, yes, there is some truth to the WP privilege, okay? It's definitely some truth to WP privilege. But Nene, you are not a WP, and you never will be. And it's sad that we have to come to that realization. Listen, I feel like Nene's head has been in the clouds. She feels like at one point I was making more money than everybody. I was getting more perks than everybody. I can say whatever I want and walk off the scene whenever I want to. I can talk to the other girls however I want to. And we all know she was just as jealous of Candy as a Junebug. Like she could not fathom the thought that Candy had more money than her. And the reason why is because Candy outworks you. In my opinion, I have no doubt that Nene is the reason behind some of the turmoil in her life. I can see where I've seen in episodes where her manager would come to her and bring her jobs, bring her deals, and she would be turning them down. And I think that Nene turn things down because she isn't confident in herself if she's not the one running the show. She feels like on Housewives, in my opinion, she runs the show. Everything was centered around Nene until it wasn't. Because they can see that. When the executives see that the talent is becoming bigger than the job at hand, they have to make some changes. They humbled Kenya by taking her off of the show because she got to a point where she thought she was bigger than the show. She thought the show needed her. They took her off the show for a season to show her that they didn't. Now, maybe that was a bad idea because now they done brought her back. But they haven't brought Nene back because the bottom line is Nene needs to understand understand the elevation of all the things that she's done. You behind the scenes are trashing these people, and then you want them to turn around and pay you a check. Why would you do that? And we keep on talking about, I remember we were talking about Bethany, and I just seen NBC is actually getting sued, and Bethany actually was talking about it. She was saying how, Bravo is very intrusive in your life. And then she talked about how she's actually tried to get a deal. She didn't understand why they can't be paid for constantly being shown on the show. Like she tried to get a deal where Bravo has to pay her every time they use her likeness. She's like, they are constant. And Monique Samuels did the same thing where she tried to do this with Carlos and the Love and Marriage franchise. And I think that that's true. I think that they utilize these reality TV stars over and over again, and they're not paid for the talent consistently once they're off of the show. And Bethany is a business person. She's like, listen, you're going to keep on using my face on this show. You're going to keep on talking about me. I should be paid for it. And so she talked about how the network is very intrusive. They're in your life and they're doing all these things and they're forcing you to do scenes and overproducing behind the scenes. And it's just a lot, and it can alter the trajectory of your life. And while I feel like Bethany is definitely being heard because of her WP privilege, it doesn't shorten my thought process where Nene has created some of this turmoil, a lot of this turmoil herself. Bethany is a rich WP, okay? And they are just allowed to say whatever they want. This is not just a Nene problem. This is a life problem with everybody, okay? That's just an ongoing thing in life. Now, it comes off where people may be looking at it like, oh, we're okay with Bethany saying, but we're not okay with Nene saying it. No, nobody believes that at all. Nobody thinks that it's okay for Bethany to say stuff and not for Nene to say it. It's just a fact of Nene doesn't support herself with the things that she does. It's like, it's okay once everybody is kissing my tail and I'm the head honcho, but it's not okay when nobody is doing what I want them to do. Let's just break it all down and be real. Nene is mad because she didn't get any spinoff shows like Candy did. And it's been said that the reason why Candy got a lot of those spinoff shows is because of the fact that she didn't go along with this said lawsuit, okay? Now, be that as it may, again, the biggest thing about that is choices. Everybody makes choices. Nene made her choices, and now she's living in it. So comment down below. What are y'all thoughts on my overview of the part 1 and part 2?